I saw Tomb Raider last night, the reboot of the Tomb Raider franchise of movies based on the popular series of video games that started years ago with those movies that starred Angelina Jolie. And, video game movies, well, movies based on video games have a reputation of not being very good. And you may be wondering, does this version with Alicia Vikander break that curse? Well, in my opinion, yeah, it does. Because I thought Tomb Raider was a pretty decent, solid action movie, honestly. Nothing jaw-droppingly great or anything, but certainly not something, in my opinion, that belongs to the horrible, horrible wasteland of movies based on video games that we've been getting for, the past several years. At least in most people's opinions. Maybe you like some of those video game movies that have gotten horrible reviews and reputations, and if so, that's great. But quickly in a nutshell, Lara Croft in this movie, she works as like a bike messenger in the beginning, and her father has deceased, and he's left behind all this stuff and a vast fortune, but she refuses to sign the papers to take over his company because she feels psychologically that once she signs those papers, it'll be like confirming that he's dead, and she doesn't want to live off of his money. She wants to earn her own money and be her own woman. But of course, she eventually relents and signs all this stuff and acknowledges, the fact that she's a part of this legacy. But she finds out that he left her like some weird clues and stuff, some weird objects. And when she investigates, she discovers he has this secret room with all these artifacts that are evidence of his life as some kind of risk-taker Indiana Jones kind of guy. And she finds clues to where he went, the location he went to where he supposedly died. And of course, she follows the breadcrumbs, so to speak, to his place of demise, and starts her journey to become the Tomb Raider that we know and love today. And, if I say anything more, I'll give the whole movie away. I don't want to do that. But basically, that's the setup of the movie. Now, this movie is very good. It does take place in it starts in London, because Lara Croft is British, but then it, ends in a different location, where she does all her Tomb Raider stuff. And the action is good. It's very fast paced. A lot of the stuff that happens I think is well edited, well shot. There's a couple of obvious green screen shots, well done green screen, but you can totally tell that she's not really in the locations. But the movie does seem very small scale in the sense that even though it takes place in an exotic location and stuff, it never really feels like hugely epic, but good in a smaller scale kind of way. This is a very small scale movie, a good small scale movie. And, the performances are all fine. Alicia Vikander, she does a great job in the role. She makes Lara Croft very likable. And in this movie, they do a great job of setting up her evolution to becoming Tomb Raider. There's a lot of character development. She has emotional pain because she lost her daddy. And she grows as a person. And she makes mistakes. She's not a lot of heroes in movies, action movies, they're just perfect at everything. And they never do anything wrong. This Lara Croft actually does screw up. And it humanizes her in a way. And it makes her more, I think, relatable than a lot of heroes that just can't do anything wrong. And Alicia Vikander, I think she's a good successor to this role. She doesn't look anything like Angelina Jolie or the way Lara Croft looked in the older video games. But they did that on purpose. They wanted to pick a lady who was a bit more live and athletic and believable as someone, swinging from trees and stuff and jumping across things. She is the Lara Croft of today. They don't want to get accused. We live in the Me Too Time's Up era, and they probably don't want to be accused of overly sexualizing the character and stuff. This movie is fun, fast-paced, tightly plotted, and a lot better than I think a lot of people will expect. Now, you might be looking at the reviews on Rotten Tomato and a lot of tomatoes or whatever, and a lot of critics are trashing this movie. But if you look at the score, it's right now in the 50s or whatever, not the 20s or the 30s where movies are when they're horribly bad. It's somewhere in the middle of the road, which means, in my opinion, that means it's okay. And I do think this is an okay movie. It's certainly not bad. It's not great, but it's good enough. And I think it's evidence of the fact that a lot of critics these days are really hardcore and, pretty merciless when it comes to movies. And unless something is jaw-droppingly great, Shape of Water or Black Panther or something, or Civil War, Captain America Civil War, it's almost like there's no middle ground between completely horrible and completely great. This movie is definitely somewhere in that middle ground, but a lot of critics don't want to acknowledge that middle ground. It's unless it's this great, superior movie, everything else has to be, terrible. That's the attitude I think a lot of critics have in general, and it's definitely showing its face with their reviews of Tomb Raider. But I think, as a regular, average person, if you like fun action movies and you're not looking for anything super serious, Tomb Raider is definitely for you. And I think, in my opinion, years from now, when they look at the history of video game movies, this version of Tomb Raider will be somewhere near the top. Because it's not a bad movie. Not at all. And I recommend go seeing it. It's playing now. Check it out and see what you think. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on Facebook and subscribe to the channel because I like making these videos for you. And I will talk to you soon because I do these videos all the time. Bye.